Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. There's another round of downtown revitalization funding that Elmira is applying for. Our Maggie Hall speaks to an official who tells us where past funds have gone and where people want to see these next funds go.
Back in 2016, the city of Elmira was awarded $10 million as part of New York State's Downtown Revitalization Program. Now the city is applying again to the program and wants the public's input. The first public input session for use of the funding was held last night.
We just know that there's a lot of projects that could use some funding and support in the city, and so we really want to try and access this funding. So our first community outreach event was held yesterday, and we had a lot of really good input, a lot of interest in the park. So Brand Park is in the area that we're looking to revitalize, and so there's a lot of interest in potential projects. Pickleball was discussed, really a lot of discussion around the need for programs for youth, for really that demographic between 12 to 18, that there really aren't a lot of programs or activities for that age group, and so if there's anything that we can do to provide more programs for that group.
This new round of the Downtown Development Initiative by the city is titled Southside Rising.
The Southside really hasn't seen as much investment. We've seen like a lot of development on the other side of the river with LECOM being built, and the majority of our first round DRI was all along the other side of the river, and so it just seems like it's been ignored for a while, and that seems to be a little bit of the feedback that we're getting from the community, that there are issues that need to be dealt with, and they're excited to see something like this happening.
If you have ideas on how the DRI money could be used on the South Side or feedback about community development, come to the next public input session on September 13th at 6 p.m. at the Southside Community Center.
After a police chase in Sayre, an Athens man is now facing multiple charges. Sayre police say Quentin Wilcox fled from police and now faces a felony and 6 misdemeanors. Police ran a registration on the motorcycle and attempted a traffic stop after discovering the motorcycle's registration was expired. That's when police say Wilcox took off at high speeds and eventually lost control of the motorcycle. Wilcox then attempted to run away. After arresting Wilcox, Sayre police found that Wilcox was in possession of a pipe with burnt residue and a small baggie with a white crystal-like substance, they say. He is now in police custody and will appear in court at a later date. Corning's Gaffer District will be closing down streets for the city's upcoming community night. Bites on Bridge, a free family-friendly event, will take place this Friday. Bridge Street, Park Lane, along with East and West William Street will be closed to traffic from 1 to 10 p.m. The event will feature food, local vendors, and kids' activities with the chance to win prizes. For more information, visit the Gaffer District's website. A game commission night will be hosted by a Pennsylvania representative. Clint Owlett invites local hunters to the event on Thursday, September 14th. The Game Commission night will go from 6 to 8 p.m. with informative presenters to foster and encourage a love of hunting. The family-friendly event requires registration, which you can do by visiting the website on your screen. More of former President Donald Trump's alleged co-conspirators are surrendering in Georgia. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani insists the case is politically motivated. Rebecca Castor reports.
A highly choreographed scene unfolding here in Georgia as former President Donald Trump prepares to turn himself in to Fulton County Jail.
They're lying. I'm telling the truth.
Rudy Giuliani insists he's innocent while on his way to face election interference charges in Georgia. He's one of former President Donald Trump's 18 allies indicted in connection with their actions to overturn the 2020 election results. Giuliani says the case is another attempt by Democrats to weaponize the justice system.
The system of justice is politicized and criminalized for politics. Your rights are in jeopardy.
Early Wednesday, former Georgia GOP Chairman David Schaefer and former Coffee County GOP Chair Kathy Latham turned themselves in, while Republican poll watcher Scott Hall and Trump's former attorney John Eastman surrendered on Tuesday. Eastman says he has no regrets.
The president called and asked for representation. I think every citizen in my position should be willing to stand up for representation.
Mr. Trump plans to surrender to authorities on Thursday. He's expected to be fingerprinted and pose for a mugshot. He'll be released from custody under an agreed-upon set of conditions that includes not intimidating co-defendants or witnesses.
The judge essentially says if you say anything I don't like about this current case, you could go to jail potentially.
And a first for Mr. Trump's criminal proceedings, a state judge ruled that cameras will be allowed for his arraignment. In Atlanta, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
UPS workers have ratified a Teamsters negotiated labor deal that was unveiled nearly a month ago. The new 5-year contract was passed with support from more than 86% of voting UPS union members. The new contract institutes raises across the package carrier's workforce and puts new heat safety protections in place. A little boy in Westchester, New York is lucky to be alive thanks to his quick-thinking parents who saved him after a bear attack in their own backyard. Richard Giacobis has the story.
It was just after 11 a.m. in the backyard of this home on Hickory Kingdom Road in the town of Bedford when a 7-year-old boy did what any child would do on a bright summer's day. He went to play in his backyard, not realizing what he would soon face. North Castle Police, along with dozens of first responders, rushed to the scene of that home where they found a 7-year-old being treated by his parents after being attacked by what police believe was an adolescent black bear. That bear was still lurking in the background as mom and dad, along with paramedics, worked to treat the boy.
Our concern was he did not retreat, so at one point he did advance, and when you have that many human beings, I would think that an animal of that kind would normally retreat, and it did not.
That's when North Castle Police shot and killed the bear. It took 4 men to carry him away. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation will now bring him to the State Health Department, where the bear will be tested for rabies.
Definitely scary, since there's so many young families right now in the area.
The home where this attack happened sits in a wooded area where wildlife sightings are common, but attacks like these are not, and that's what's concerning people who live nearby.
I have pets and I have young grandchildren, and myself. I mean, if I walked out and saw a bear, I don't know what I would do, but probably scream.
North Castle Police Chief Peter Simonson wants parents to watch their children and their pets, but is also praising the parents of that little boy. Not for a moment did they hesitate to save their child while that bear watched and waited, possibly wanting to attack again.
That's extremely brave. That's what parents do, though. That's what good parents do.
Still ahead, we have your complete forecast. Plus, starting a new school year can be challenging for anyone, especially incoming college freshmen who faced social and academic hurdles in their last years of high school because of the pandemic. Academic professionals discuss how students can prepare, coming up.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Good evening. Another uptick in the forecast is setting up here as we round into the early weekend. Now, we did generally stay dry today, definitely battled some cloud cover in place as the next system was sliding its way across portions of the Midwest. Now, we're starting to return the rains as we are just on that far easterly side of that system. So rains, showers are starting to push their way in, even a few thunderstorms with that. But we are watching that the system that is pushing in is going to continue to take over our local area through Thursday, which is even going to give us some flooding concerns due to some heavy rainfall. And then that system keeps us under a few showers on Friday before a new system, which will be a cold front on Saturday, even brings us another chance for rainfall. So staying a little bit on the active side here, which will keep us on our toes. Now, the system that we're watching here is going to continue to approach portions of western New York as we step into our Thursday evening. We are falling just ahead of that warm front. We'll see it with temperatures here in a moment, but we're noting that with us staying just outside of that warm front, The strongest of the storms will remain off to the southwest, but we're still going to be in proximity with that troughing system to bring in some showers and thunderstorms, especially as we'll watch that low make a movement off straight to the east into our Friday, continuing those chances into that Friday morning forecast at least. So you can see where that stronger outlook was bringing that marginal risk just outside of our area. Risk does bring some damaging wind gusts, some larger hail, even isolated tornadoes closer to that Ohio and Pennsylvania border, but concerns there will be watched. Our local region here from tonight and into our Thursday will bring several rounds of precipitation though, which is going to lead to some flooding potential. So we already have some of those outer bands bringing some showery weather to the region, some rumbles of thunder, and then we're going to continue to bring that even through Thursday morning. We get some lulls in some of those showers and thunderstorms, but quickly as that stronger line of storms develops, we'll be just on that lingering edge to continue convection overnight Thursday into Friday morning, where there will be rounds of those downpours possible to leave us with anywhere from a half an inch to upwards of an inch of accumulation. So with already knowing that we have pretty saturated soils from an active August, we could trigger some isolated flooding concerns within any of those heavy downpours, and especially timing out how many rounds of rainfall we will see on the fringe of that system and keeping us under some showers into our Friday. With more development on Saturday. Good news, Saturday doesn't look to have as much of a punch when it comes to the moisture content, as we have very strong southerly winds that are pushing into that warm front that's bringing that moisture. And as mentioned, you can see where that warm front's lying up a little bit warmer there off towards the west, where they're nearing the 80s. Locally, we're ranging anywhere from those 60s to Binghamton to about 74 into Elmira. So just on that fringe of instability, but still at least going to see some slight warming. Might feel some of that stickiness, which will fuel up those showers and thunderstorms. We'll stay under that chance into our Friday, cold front on Saturday, and then we will get some of that sunshine relief by the end of the weekend.